Seems like there's really nothing to say here except, ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Hershey. So, a slinky psychopath. That was emotional for you, seeing that.
It was emotional for me, yes, and you all standing, that was incredible. Thank you.
What is it to see in 7.5 minutes the entirety of a remarkable career in this business?
I don't know, I just had never seen anything like that before. No one had ever done that on me before, that I'm aware of. I guess, you know, when you act in film, you act in a vacuum, sort of. You don't have an audience. And when you see that, it adds up to a career, it does. I can see it kind of like you see it. It's hard when you're inside it to see it in that way.
Why, at age 30, did you say a career like Margaret Rutherford? What, of all the names you could have picked, do you remember why?
I don't remember saying that.
Well, if we made it up, we might have chosen someone different, although I think Margaret Rutherford is an excellent choice. Do you remember thinking that sentiment, that the business will be done with you by the time you're 30?
It was always a fear, because I was told that. And in the old days, a lot of women, you know, didn't go beyond certain ages, and I didn't want that to be the case any more than I do now.
I mean, I have like 78 questions before I even get to Hannah and her sisters, but you're having an hour-long conversation with Alicia Malone tomorrow, so I will leave most of that to her, although I have a couple. But let's go right to Hannah and her sisters. So 1986, and as we just saw in that, I guess that is in the middle of what was a pretty fruitful run there, post Stuntman.
Right. Yeah, Stuntman was the first film that was a woman, I think, not a girl.
Wow, yeah.
And yeah, so I guess that was the case. But I had just moved to New York. I didn't know anyone. I had brought my son with me. It was sort of a vulnerable time. I had kind of uprooted from California and didn't know what I was doing quite, except I knew that everyone I ever admired as an actor had spent some time in New York, and I wanted to put myself in that dangerous place.
So it was really to push yourself was the motivation, to experience something different.
Yes, that was scary, but in a good way, creatively. And 4 days in, I got this meeting with Woody, and was told by my agents, don't be surprised if you just see the top of his head, because he probably would just be looking down, he won't really look at you, and so don't be thrown. And I said, okay, and I go in, and he's so lovely. And we spend 10 minutes together, and I get up to leave, and he hands me the script, and he says, the part of Lee if you want it. And I get to go home and read this beautiful script in this incredible role, knowing I had it. And this was after years of auditioning, and you know, sometimes you get roles, sometimes you don't. But to be handed this role, like a welcome mat to New York and a welcome mat to this quality of film.
Handed this script from, you know, the definitive writer, director of anybody in New York. I mean, that's it. That's, yeah. You know, well, and you worked for the other one, Martin Scorsese. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, by the way, my wife's name is Lee. We recognized that as we watched the movie again together last week, so that's pretty cool. I somehow didn't put that together in this moment until you said the name. So, I'm curious about that 10-minute meeting. Do you talk about the movie, or is she just trying to get to know you?
I don't remember really what was said. I don't remember us talking about the movie much. I found out he doesn't like to talk about the movies. When I was I like to ask directors lots of questions because I want to fulfill what they, I'm also looking for what they want the film to be, so I can help fulfill that. And so I asked lots of questions, and he finally said, I just answer anything to get you to shut up. And he really didn't like talking about the character or the movie. He'll talk happily about anything else, but I had to just go with the script, which was a lot,
This reminds me, I was doing an interview with the actor Tim Curry about Annie, and he was meeting with John Huston, and Huston asked him, what do you think of this point with the character? And Tim Curry was like, I don't know, I don't really like to think about it ahead of time. And Huston said, oh, thank God.
Scorsese's just the opposite. He loves the dialogue.
So, well, that brings me to the question that I definitely wanted to ask. And I don't mean to leave out any of the other really quality directors you worked for in this incredibly distinguished career, but let's take Martin Scorsese, Woody Allen, Richard Rush, who did Stuntman, Jane Campion, and Barry Levinson, who you did Tin Men and The Natural with. So, and you did 2 with Scorsese there too. So, is there in those 5 directors you pointed out how Woody and Scorsese are different. What's the common thread of directors who clearly very much know what they're doing? And I don't mean, again, you worked with other directors who also know what they're doing. But those 5 are notable.
That's a great question, and I'd never thought about the answer. They're all individuals. They all have different ways of working, completely different. So I don't know what the common thread is, except that they want to make a good movie, but their methods are so different.
In what way? Give me just any, it doesn't matter, any example. You don't have to give a definitive answer, just an answer.
Well, like Scorsese is such an enthusiast, and if you come up with an idea, that's a good idea. He's very prepared, but he'll throw it out the window and he'll just do your idea, and Last Temptation, two things I came up with. He just completely threw the script out and went, yes, do that. And, there's a confidence in that, and it's like throwing a creative ball back and forth. And so his great secret, I think, is to say yes. He has confidence to say yes to his actors.
Is that something that did not happen with Woody or with Jane Campion or anybody?
Jane was open. Jane was very open. I kept going to Henry James, to the book, to the Bible, a Portrait of a Lady, and she let me, get a lot of stuff in too. She was very open. But Woody it's just a different person. It wasn't like he was closed, and he was good-humored, and his method of shooting, he would shoot everything. You'll see everything in one shot. So you rehearse in the morning like a play. You get to the beginning, middle, and end of the scene. You know when you walk into close-up and when you don't. And you have to get a certain perfection of that working in rehearsal before he could film. So we'd spend the morning doing that, and then he'd film it, have a 2-hour lunch break, and do the same thing in the afternoon. Just do two scenes a day, and end at 5 o'clock. I mean, no other director does this.
He would just wrap it up. It's 5 o'clock. We're done for today.
If it was done,
yeah.
It was done. I mean, if it wasn't done, of course he wouldn't. But basically, that was the shape of it. And I'd never worked with anyone who worked like that. It was incredible. The script was so good, I didn't really need to talk about it, so I understood that.
So, give me a sense, all of us a sense then, in this, this remarkable ensemble cast where it's even hard to say who's the leading man and leading lady, right? So in this, how did Woody and how did you handle working in that cast, or was it just like something that as an actor you crave?
I asked Woody who was going to play Frederick, who was my boyfriend in the film, written in the script like he was my boyfriend. And he said Max von Sydow. And I literally sat on the ground when he said that.
I'm going to interrupt you only to say, I can't, as soon as you said my boyfriend, I'm like, Max von Sydow is nobody's boyfriend.
But I admired Max so much through the Bergman movies and through everything he's ever done. What a masterful, incredible, gentle, and powerful actor. And to get to act with him and Michael Caine, and I found myself like a month after I got the role, I found myself on the streets downtown in New York, and there's Woody, there's Mia, there's Michael Caine, there's Max von Sydow, and there's me. And I thought, how did this happen? Like a month ago, I was scared to death moving to New York, you know?
So, you know, Barbara, that's one of the, I mean, I already like so many things about you, but like, we know that you belong in that crowd. But the fact that you somehow are still like the rest of us, who obviously to a person here would all react like, oh my God, what am I doing here? It's just lovely. It's lovely that you know, you're as grounded as you are. Did you talk to Mac von Sydow about 3 Days of the Condor? It's like my favorite movie. We're not going to talk about that.
I talked to him about roses.
Roses?
Growing roses in Sweden, and how with stone houses that you have to keep them warm from the summer, and the secret of keeping a stone house warm in the winter is to keep the summer heat by heating up the house as winter approaches so that it never loses the summer heat. Things like that, that's what we talked about.
So he was here at the festival one year, and we did not talk about that. I feel silly for not bringing it up. I'll just say, but he was here because he's Swedish, he's European, he's smart, he's distinguished. I was intimidated. I was certain he would, you know, see right through to every vulnerability that I have, which are numerous. And he was so unbelievably nice. The first thing I asked was, you know, there's some debate here about how to say your last name, von Sydow or von Sydow. And he said, von Sydow, but I don't care. Like, have at it. It's lovely to have you say my name, you know. So, so we got to go. But your memories of Hannah and her sisters are clearly lovely memories.
Lovely memories. And the whole movie, to me, is Woody's warmest movie. My favorite Woody Allen movie is Crimes and Misdemeanors.
That's my favorite Woody Allen.
Yeah. But Hannah is his warmest film. I feel like it's lit by a fireplace, that film. You know?
I think that there are some Woody fans who might object to this, but I mean, I think it was his best movie at the box office, at least to that point. Maybe still now. But I think it was because the most accessible Woody Allen film, and I don't think that should be seen as a criticism. Like it is. It is an incredibly inviting, warm movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. About family.
Yeah, I think it is, and complex as usual.
And of course,
you know,
right.
Funny and dramatic. He has this ability to dip kind of effortlessly between drama and comedy, and yeah, it's filled with stuff.
Any movie that can be that complicated and still include a line where somebody says, Nazis, what do I know about Nazis? I can't even use the can opener. It's a Woody Allen movie. I can't believe I'm sitting next to you. It's a great thrill. I want to go on longer. I hope we'll have a point at some time in the future.
I hope so.
Barbara Hershey, everybody.